Craig, you mentioned that you had wanted to do this for a while. I don't know if a musical had been your plan when this idea first started germinating, but I was talking to Ben Folds about how the character development of Charlie Brown in this particular special was really highlighted by the music. Was that something that you knew ahead of time going into this, or is that something that as this idea continued to develop, you realized more and more was a good fit?
I'm so happy to hear that you grasped onto that because when we started the project, my son Brian and Neil both said, "Well, Dad, we can write this thing just as a story. You don't need music for this thing. Why are we making this thing a musical?" And I said, because I had this vision for what it would feel like as a musical. I think it would elevate it as a musical. When you inject music into the animation and you start layering on the music and you layer on the soundtrack of Charlie Brown singing and the kids singing and the fantastic animation that Eric brings to the thing, all of a sudden it goes from basically one of our animated specials, way, way up into the stratosphere as far as I'm concerned. I always feel that if you watch a musical, you're way more likely to watch it over and over and over again. And because the songs just drive you back. And I got that from watching my dad put on an ice show every year, and no matter how bad the skating was in certain scenes, if the music was good, I could watch it over and over and over again. I'm a strong believer in music driving the audience.
That's why we love animation, right? There's, immediately there's a suspension of disbelief, and then you have the conversation with Ben, and it develops, and you're like, it gives me more ideas, and then little by little, as he was bringing in more voices in, that informs you,
Mm.
and so that's the collaboration.
My challenge was he just took a big risk even liking camp. You may not know this, but Charlie Brown hated camp for 50 years.
Interesting. So what made them change it?
Well, they wanted him to grow up a little bit. And so he's been dropped from this great risk of like being happier than he normally is, more enthusiastic than he normally is. And now it's like, woo, now camp's going to be over. The world is coming to an end. And he's going to sing a song. They thought they were going to save camp and it's raining, but then the sun comes out. So the challenge to that song is, how do you earn the sun coming out? And what it was to me was like, oh, I get it. Don't ever give up. Charlie Brown, I had him look down at the task, and his friends are telling him to look up because it's actually raining. Be realistic, and he won't. But then when the sun comes out, they're like, look up, the sun's out, and he still won't, which is that kind of personality. And it made it more poignant to me. And then the sun can coming out at the end of the song. Now they haven't necessarily made the sun come out, but they've earned the medal.
Yeah.
They like Charlie Brown stuck it out. He was going to be there, rain or shine, literally.
And
Yeah.
these are abstract ideas that you get when Ben gives you such poetry and these characters. I mean, I can't think of another show where I can actually go deep into a moment because Charlie Brown can give us that.